Breaking news today. We need to get this out to you. A record spike in earthquakes at Washington's high threat volcano sends researchers scrambling for answers. Also, the sun emitted a 9.0 X-class flare just a couple of days ago, and experts are expecting that plasma to reach Earth today. We'll get into that in a moment. How about this? Parts of Antarctica are turning green at an astounding rate. 60 workers lose jobs at Hanford nuclear site. Heightened seismic activity continues under Mount St. Helens. 22 earthquakes this week. Now, that article was back in July, but we're going to connect the dots here and why Mount Rainier is the volcano that keeps scientists up at night. And what's up with Biscuit Basin? Well, it's still closed. Let's talk about it. Are you concerned about the economy? Rightfully so. I know a lot of people that are. Be prepared, not scared. There's one asset that stands the test of time. That's gold. For centuries, gold has been a hedge against inflation, volatility, and economic instability. With the Gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments, you can harness the power of precious metals to help protect your financial future. By rolling over your existing IRA or 401k into a self-directed gold IRA, you can enjoy the potential for long-term growth and stability. Diversify your portfolio with a tangible asset that has real value. Setting up your gold IRA has never been easier with Noble Gold Investments and LeapProjectGold.com. Its streamlined process and expert guidance makes it smooth and simple. This election year, don't let election volatility and uncertainty keep you up at night. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024. When you convert your 401 or IRA through Noble Gold Investments, if you qualify, you will be gifted this beautiful solid silver 10-ounce American flag bar behind me. Or if you prefer, you can get these limited edition Trump rounds. 10 of these, total of 10 ounces. Your choice. Give them a call, 1-877-646-5347. And let's get back to the podcast right now. The latest flare that launched from the sun, an X-class 9.0. This flare launched a wave of radiation at Earth, bypassing Earth's magnetic shield or magnetosphere and ionized the upper parts of the upper atmosphere, creating a temporary radio blackout above parts of Africa and the South Atlantic Ocean. It also hurled the CME, a cloud of fast-moving plasma and solar particles, into space, which will likely collide with Earth on Sunday, October 6th. This is according to spaceweather.com. Now, you can read this article at livescience.com. Just a few days ago, back Monday, October 1st, the same sunspot unleashed a massive X 7.1 flare, which is now the third most powerful of the current cycle, causing similar radio blackouts above the Pacific Ocean. And then it launched another CME at Earth. This plasma cloud was predicted to hit Earth on Saturday, today, and it could now strike at any moment. When CMEs hit our planet over the weekend, they're likely to trigger a disturbance in the magnetosphere known as a geomagnetic storm, which enables solar particles to penetrate deep into the atmosphere and trigger vibrant aurora displays at unusually low latitudes. The National Space Weather Prediction Center predicts that a geomagnetic storm could persist between October 4th and October 6th, so buckle up, Buttercup, and will likely reach a strong G3 power level, making auroras likely. This is the solar peak. The latest solar outbursts are a reminder that we have likely entered the explosive peak of the sun's roughly 11-year solar cycle, known as the solar maximum. Scientists had initially predicted that this phase would begin next year and be less active than past solar cycles. However, they were far wrong. 2024 has already been rife with solar activity. In May, our planet experienced its most powerful geomagnetic storm for over 20 years after a barrage of X-class CMEs triggered some of the most widespread auroras for over 500 years. And in August, the number of visible sunspots hit a 23-year high. The latest monster flare is the 42nd X-class flare of 2024. And Earth is in the firing lines. Now, according to spaceweatherlive.com, for context, there was only 36 X-class flares over the previous 9 years. Whoa. And they're predicting geomagnetic storms and auroras could spike further as Earth's magnetic field becomes more closely aligned with the solar wind around the fall equinox. This means any solar storms spat out by the sun have a higher chance of slamming into the magnetosphere. Sunspot AR3842 could also emit more powerful solar flares in the coming days, researchers warn. But don't worry, Elon Musk will save us with all of his satellites. Let's take a look at NASA real quick. Let's jump on over to always a straight answer. Sun emits X 9.0 flare on October 3rd, 2024. NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory captured this image of an X class 9.0 flare as seen in the bright flash in the center, October 3rd, 2024. This image shows a blend of 171 angstrom and 131 angstrom light, subsets of extreme ultraviolet light. There you go. At 8:18 a.m. I mean, if you were to put the Earth in that same image, it would be like a tiny dot. Pretty intense. Look at that one. Wow. You'll get somebody on the internet that'll take this image and say it's a giant spaceship. It's not, it's a solar flare. Now, if you think that's cool, well, what's normally the coolest place on the planet, Antarctica, parts of Antarctica are turning green at an astounding rate. Satellite images of the Antarctic Peninsula and nearby islands reveal that the area covered by vegetation grew dramatically between 1986 and 2021, and the rate of growth has accelerated since 2016. Let's take a look at these incredible images of greenery in Antarctica. As you can see right here, vegetation on Ardley Island, close to the Antarctic Peninsula. Parts of Antarctica are turning green faster than expected, with researchers warning that climate change could lead to a devastating influx of invasive species. The scale of the greening trend we found shocked us, says Tom Rowland of the University of Exeter, UK. The rate of change we are seeing in terms of increasing vegetation cover is astounding and worryingly accelerating. Let's take a look at some satellite images here. CNN.com. And thanks to Tom Rowland, this is a satellite image of Robert Island on the Antarctic. This is vegetation growing on Green Island on the Antarctic Peninsula, which is warming much faster than the global average. Matt Amsbury. This is from Dan Charman, a part of the Barrientos Islands that has given way to plant life. You see that X-Files where Mulder and Scully found some weird, like, metallic liquid that got in one of the researchers' eyes? That was bizarre. Listen to this. Mercury bomb. Antarctica. Or Antarctic. The term mercury bomb refers to the toxic metal mercury that's trapped in the Arctic permafrost and could be released as the region warms. The mercury is a threat to the environment and the health of people living in the Arctic and beyond. Some quick information. The Arctic's permafrost may contain more mercury than the atmosphere, oceans, and all living organisms combined. The mercury is released in the environment when the permafrost thaws, which is happening more often due to climate change. The mercury can accumulate in the food chain, posing a threat to humans who consume fish and wild animals. In Antarctica, coastal areas of Antarctica are affecting the atmospheric mercury from catabolic winds, which are large-scale airflows from the Antarctic ice sheets towards the coasts. Now, measuring mercury, researchers have used remote sensing data from satellites to monitor how the Yukon River is changing course, which affects how much mercury-laden sediment is deposited along sandbars. And you can read about this Euro News, Science Direct, Yell E360. I'm going to ask it a question. Why is there so much mercury stuck in the permafrost? Mercury accumulates in permafrost because of the way pollutants are moved by atmospheric circulation and how plants absorb and store the toxic metal. Atmospheric circulation, pollutants like mercury are moved towards high latitudes by the planet's natural atmospheric circulation. Plants absorb mercury, which is then deposited into the soil when they die. Sedimentation. In permafrost regions, vegetation is buried by sediment over thousands of years, freezing the organic matter into permafrost. The amount of mercury released depends on how quickly temperatures warm, which is influenced by how quickly humans limit greenhouse gas emissions. Oh, come on! You're even in on it? Has nothing to do with the sun, folks. It's just how quickly humans emit greenhouse gas emissions. Whatever. Okay, so I wanted to share an article with you from CNN.com because it seems like the whole ring of fire. There's dozens of volcanoes along the ring of fire and going all the way up in the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest. So we're seeing an increase in earthquakes at Mount Adams. Last year and this year, we saw an uptick in earthquakes with Mount St. Helens, but then scientists said, don't worry, it's within parameters. Yes, there was an uptick in earthquakes, but it's okay. It's still not outside of the normal parameters. Well, now we've got a record spike in earthquakes at Washington's high-threat volcano, sending researchers scrambling for answers. 6 earthquakes were recorded at the Mount Adams volcano in September, a significant increase on the normal rate of 1 every 2 to 3 years. Let's go on and read this. 6 earthquakes hit the high-threat volcano in September, according to the United States Geological Survey, which is a drastic increase from the normal rate of 1 earthquake at the volcano every 2 to 3 years. This is the largest number of earthquakes recorded at Mount Adams in a single month since recordings began in 1982. The earthquakes range from magnitudes of 0.9 to 2 and were recorded via a single seismic station 7 miles southwest of Mount Adams summit. None of the ground shakes were felt at the surface. Now, according to experts, these earthquakes do not mean an eruption is imminent. Currently, there is no identification that the level of earthquake activity is cause for concern, USGS representatives wrote in a statement. Efforts are underway to better understand what's happening beneath the volcano. Scientists with the Cascades Volcano Observatory and Pacific Northwest Seismic Network will install a set of temporary seismic stations in the area to get a better understanding of the size, location, and depth of the seismic activity. And this is according to the statement. Mount Adams is over 12,000 feet tall, stretching 18 miles across, making it one of the largest peaks in the Cascades mountain range. It sits around 70 miles northeast of Portland, and it is a beautiful sight to see, folks. It formed approximately 520,000 years ago, and the largest cone grew during 3 eruptive episodes, 500,000, 400,000, 50,000 years ago, and is surrounded by several smaller vents. Last time it erupted, between 3,800 and 7,600 years ago, according to USGS. Generally, the volcano has produced effusive eruptions, which involve slow-moving lava flows rather than more destructive explosive eruptions. I was able to say it that time. That's amazing. The greatest threat to people living near Mount Adams are lahars, which are muddy flows of rock, ash, and ice that surge downstream, like rapidly flowing concrete. Scientists are concerned about that with Mount Rainier as well. Representatives wrote in the statement, the ice-capped summit conceals large volumes of hydrothermally weakened rock, and future landslides of the weakened rock could generate far-traveled lahars. We'll keep you posted. Do you need to bring in your tomato plants yet? Probably not. Probably not. So we've got a huge increase in solar activity. That article a few months ago that came out that said that the Earth's core was slowing down so much that it's potentially reversed. Like, wow. Extreme weather. It's 80 degrees out here almost, and I'm in southern Colorado. It's in October. Wow. Wow. Yeah, the weather's amazing, but it's also kind of alarming, folks. So be prepared, not scared. I want to hear your thoughts. Wild economic parameters. The economy is, wow. Political ridiculousness. Environmental concerns. Tensions overseas at a near all-time high. The elections are just right around the corner. But don't worry, because it's all in your imagination. No, be prepared, not scared, right? Focus your energy on the positive. Your energy goes where your focus flows, or something like that. Check us out on Patreon. We've got exclusive content on Patreon. Just uploaded an awesome podcast on Patreon with Susan Plunkett, Jungian psychologist, PhD. Incredible interview we just did. That's uploaded in full on our Patreon page. Also check us out on Leak Project. I hope you have a beautiful day and be the change you want to see. Be well.